Do you then believe in a part of the book and disbelieve in the other? What then is the reward of such among you as do this but disgrace in the life of this world, and on the day of resurrection they shall be sent back to the most grievous chastisement? And Allah is not heedless of what you do. 86 These are they who buy the life of this world for the hereafter, so their chastisement shall not be lightened, nor shall they be helped.
It is perfectly clear, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum. Sulaiman Rahim here, Messenger of the Covenant. We got 7 seals. Brothers and sisters, it's crystal clear who they're talking about. These are just some of the, right, some of the main characters. Because do you then believe in part of the book and disbelieve in the other? I can show you verse after verse after verse where that's true with them. Malachi, they believe in the Elijah part. You don't want to hear about the Messenger of the Covenant part. It's right there. Same paragraph. They believe in Abrahamic covenant, right? The part where the vision, but then on what the covenant was in the same paragraph. Yeah, we spent 400 years, and that applies to us. But the part where it says we return home, and it says specifically Arabia between the Euphrates and the river Egypt, and they don't believe that part. It's clear. It said for them to be a grievous chastisement. Most grievous. What most is most, right? And I'm telling you, put on record, they got less than 90 days left. Less than 90 days. A lot less, actually. 90 days, Farrakhan will be, he's exposed now. He's going to be disposed. It says, well, Lord will consume with the spirit of his mouth and destroy. The vice of a cup. What do you mean destroy? It means destroy him, his whole line. It's all DNA, all of it. Wipe him out totally. That's what you mean destroy. They say you're going to break him, chastisement, destroy. Destroy. And those with him, most grievous. Most is most. Destruction, it will be easy for them, actually, because they don't get chastisement and then destruction. See, the most grievous chastisement and then destruction. And he's, this clown of today, Sunday, right, the 27th of July, he said, well, I seen Farrakhan. It's a damn lie, right? If a Farrakhan was well and everything, they would show a picture or video or something, audio. You heard from him a long time because, oh, he's alive. No doubt about that, but he ain't well. Whatever he's suffering now is nothing compared to what's coming in 90 days, brothers and sisters. So what I'm going to talk about today is I'm just going to talk about some uncomfortable verses. Because that's what we're talking about. They believe in part of the book and disbelieve in others. Let's talk about parts of it, they don't disbelieve it. They disbelieve it. That's what we're going to talk about. I'm going to talk about. I got a lot of stuff, but I'm not going to get there. I'll have to do part 2, part 1 and part 2 on this. Hold on, brothers and sisters. I'm going to get through all this today. I want to talk about it. Depends on how much detail I go into these verses. So it's clear. Because they do it every day. I mean, those are the Messenger of the Covenant right there. How come they don't talk about that? They say Elijah, and they call him God a liar because they say Elijah's the last one. He's eternal leader of the nation of Islam. When it says clearly, he prepared the way for the Messenger of the Covenant. Who's the Messenger of the Covenant? Who is that? In Farrakhan, he only preached the covenant. It says clearly there. And then when you go to the actual Abraham covenant, it says clearly, right after 40 years, we return home. We ain't going nowhere according to them. They call God a liar in both instances. In both of them, they believe in part of the book and disbelieve in the other. They don't want to hear about the message of the covenant, and they don't hear about going home to Arabia. And both of those are connected, because the message of the covenant is Joshua. He's the one taking home to Arabia. And ain't Pharaoh, because he claims Aaron, he's the one that dies in the wilderness, get destroyed, and destroy all his people. Would that say destroyed? Did I say that? Wiped out, said kill them all, children, all of it. I'm not advocating, I'm not telling you about to kill anybody. I'm saying that's what's going to happen to them. Scripture says Moses go out and wipe them all out, their children, their women, everything. Wipe them all out. That's destruction. I'm going to repeat that verse here in a minute. So let's talk about, because that fool today, he's stupid as hell. Everything he said was incorrect. Most of it are just outright lies. These clowns here. You know, it's not a demon, so he's even worse. The demons actually get off. Maybe that's why, demons get all a little light compared to these clowns. Because we know the demons, I mean, they're fighting for survival. They were the devils. But these clowns, they're traitors. At least this one. And if they're not demons, they're in the same category. This one claims he got a PhD or something. He can't read. You can't read Exodus, Mr. Wesley. You can't read it. It tells you the storyline. It's a clear storyline. You can't read it, Wesley. Oh, that's right. You got a master. You got a PhD in not being able to read anything, not reading. See. So they pull this clown that comes today. I don't know orifice, Farrakhan. They pulled him out of, right? But you can't read, Mr. Wesley. Same guy told us the sun was our problem. You hear the whole thing. Oh, the sun. The reason why we have so much power here, we're not getting enough sun. What's some dumbass shit, boy? The whole thing today was at me. Right? She goes, if he don't talk right and all that kind of stuff, right? Yeah, I mean, he don't have good character and all that stuff. He can't be with God. I ain't say it like that, paraphrase, but that's what I'm saying. See. So I'm gonna give him more of them. Fuck you. I'm gonna add it up. I'm gonna add fuel to it. He's saying stuff like that. He can't be with God. I'm gonna give fuel. I'll give you more fuel. So now you can go and say, see what I'm saying? I'll give you more fuel. Want me to say it again? If you had any idea, you don't know. They don't have a damn an idea of what's happening, what's going to happen. If they did, they'd build a spaceship as fast as they possible and start heading out the universe as fast as they could, find another universe. If they could. Because they said they're going to wish they'd never even been born. Because this is clear. What they're doing is clear. So we show definitely why you don't speak the whole, why it says those believe part of the book, and they got down to the Quran, so you can't say, well, that's part of the Bible. And we got one laughing at, oh boy, let me go on, brothers and sisters. So I'm probably have to do this 2 parts. I can't do it 3 hours on this one today. A special day for a special person. Son of man, blasphemy. Okay, listen to this, brothers and sisters. And just a heads up now. They saying Master from Muhammad, son of man. That's what they saying. Farrakhan says it. The other person says it, right? See? Even Elijah characterized him as that. So listen to what he says now. Let's see if you can square this circle.
And whether you like it or not, the new ruler is black. He have hair like lamb's wool, and he has feet like burnished brass.
Now, that's what Scripture says, right? He just spit out his mouth. But he don't have any hair like lamb's wool. He got devil's hair. Check him, he got devil's hair. He don't have a hand like lamb's wool. That's straight hair. And that definitely not Master Muhammad, because he got straight hair too. And he's in the dark. So, I mean, and he just said out of his mouth. So what's the, somebody get a jerry curl around here or a suntan or something? Just think, see the inconsistency. I'm gonna explain you why you always think. I'm gonna explain you why they get away with this in a minute. Then you'll understand, hopefully. And then watch this. The accuser of our brethren.
So long till they don't know the birth record. So they just say from remotest antiquity, this is the house that God used to manifest his wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and power in and through. Where is he now? Wherever he want to be. I'm not going to say I know where he is, but I'm glad his power is everywhere. I think I know where he is. I don't want to say because I could be wrong. But he's wherever he wishes to be. Are we to pray and worship Master Farad Muhammad? You don't worship the flesh of any man, because the flesh is going to die. But in that flesh is a wisdom and a power superior to any human being on the earth. So when we look to Allah in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, we look to him. And when he ain't no longer here, the power is going to be here. Honorable Elijah Muhammad said he would live a minimum of 400 years, but 400 years ain't no time. He'll be gone. But before he goes, the foundation of what he lays will never be erased from the planet. That's a God. He prays. He prays. He don't pray to himself. You don't say, surely I have turned myself to me. Who does he pray to? He prays in remembrance of him who originated that which he came in. He came in this body. You can't ignore him who originated this. Anyway, it's deep. It's a big subject. I want to say to my Muslim brothers, when I was in Mecca, I was there for 3 days.
Enough of that. Hold on, brothers and sisters, have a camera issue here. Come at me all kinds of ways, brothers and sisters. First, camera issue, didn't have a sound issue, now I got a camera issue. Every day. It's okay. It's trying to give me a stroke or something. First, be up in a minute, hopefully. Well, you don't need to see me anyway, so I'm not important. I don't need to be seen. Okay, let's list this for a couple of minutes, brothers and sisters. Just say. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it.
And so you might be sometimes, at a crossroads. I hear and I believe that we are righteous people, but I see the wickedness of our daily actions. How do you reconcile the two seemingly conflicting views? Well, this key is training. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad and Minister Farrakhan emphasized the fact that the black man and woman are righteous by nature. But the wickedness that we manifest is a result of having been trained and tutored by our enemy, who is Satan. You and I, beloved brother and sister, we do have enemies now. I hope don't none of us think that we just are people and we just in a miserable state of affairs of our own doing. No, we have been raised and brought up inside the house where Satan, as the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said, has functioned as evil foster parents of us. And so now God is present, seeking to raise us out of that miserable condition. So he brings us unto himself, and then he begins to remake us through a process of training. Some of those in the early history of our sojourn in America, they looked at how the white rulers of America had not just enslaved us in terms of putting our bodies in chains, but they also sought to make us an immoral people. One of the great abolitionist bishops, Bishop Henri Gregoire, he said the following. He said, the Europeans, to procure slaves there in Africa, create and perpetuate a state of constant warfare. Those regions are poisoned by their strong liquors, by every species of debauchery, of rapacity, cruelty, and seduction. Is there a single vice or sin which is not daily renewed in that country? Yes, I repeat, there's not a vice, not a species of wickedness of which Europe is not guilty towards Negroes, of which she has not shown them the example. Avenging God, suspend thy thunder, exhaust thy compassion in giving her time and courage to repair, if possible, these horrors and atrocities. I want you to see the white bishop saying that, not just the Nation of Islam. Y'all all right? Sometimes we speak such a truth that people think we're the only people that think this way. That's right. But I couldn't come to you today if I didn't bring receipts. I mean, y'all expected me to bring receipts, right?
Enough of that. A few things here, brothers and sisters. First of all, the previous, where Farrakhan says, he basically saying God's not a man, because he's saying, see, the double talk, I'm going to explain this in a minute. Double talk. Well, he's a God, but he prays to a God. So is he a God or not? Because gods don't pray to anybody. But he prays to, but he's praying to not even remember, because he's flesh. So he can't. But he can't be God because he's flesh. You can't pray to him because he's flesh. See, but he prays to something that's not flesh, and beyond that, we pray to something that don't even exist. Right? Because that's what he's saying. See, it doesn't matter me explaining this to you because you're not going to hear anyway. Because if you did, you wouldn't be with him for 1 second. Because he's saying you're praying to a memory. A memory. That what can a memory do for you? Oh, memory, please remember me. You're praying to a memory. Not match for my. See, that's they changed their story. Because now they got a different story now. Oh, Papa got a brand new bag now. But that's what he was saying. Because that aligns with that originator stuff. Because that's what he's talking about, the originator. Master, I'm a praise to the originator. They've been saying for years until recently, all of a sudden, it's Master Muhammad. And that's the reason for that. Because they're trying to dress. The hell I'm unleashing on their ass. You don't see it. You'll see it in a minute. And that's this whole thing today was actually attacking me. They're trying to find a slicker way to do it. So he said, oh, he prays. That's why I'm a praise. So why waste time praying to him? But we can't pray to him, right? Because you see what I'm saying? So we got to pray this mystery God, and Elijah Muhammad made that crystal clear. I mean, there was no ambiguity in that. God is a man, period. If you make him less than a man, you make him, if you make him other than a man, you make him less than a man, period. In every document he put out, he made that very clear. But he said, no. That's Farrakhan now. The one that Elijah Muhammad said would be his worst hypocrite. And then move forward. This clown, I don't know what orifices they pull him out of, but Farrakhan's orifices they pull him out of. Right? But he see, all of a sudden, it ain't our fault that we got in this situation. It's white people's fault. Oh, no. Don't change up now. Because before, you're so wicked. You're evil. That's why we're over here. Because we was wicked, we was evil. That's right. No, he said, nah. He said, now he's trying to get back to the lesson. No, we was righteous people. And they made us like that. Now where they been getting that from? They ain't been teaching that. We was righteous people. See? Because according to Farrakhan, it was wicked. That's how we end up in a situation. We was being punished. But no, not now. See, trying to ease in. Trying to ease in math from it now. Because they're being, see, the thing is, they're being questioned. Because people start waking up. People start moving out of second dimension. And just a little bit. Just enough. Still with the horizon. See, hey man, I thought that was a bird. But that's a flying turd. That was a bird. See, something wrong. See? So now they got to try to change up because they was getting away with it when everybody was locked down to the second dimension. I'm going to explain in a minute. And so now people starting to question. Ask questions. And so now they got to try to cover, you know, get the act together. Oh, no. That's my message to God. And you got to listen to him. He wasn't going to save it. That was last week, right? See? And now, oh, no. We didn't put ourselves in this condition. They put us in this condition. And that's what I've been saying for how long? Come on, vectors. How are you going to blame us for what devils did to us? And we act like it's because they did, and they put the pressure on us to keep us in that condition. You see what I'm saying? If you listen carefully, go back and check what I've been saying all week, because it's no coincidence. They find more and more, try to inventive ways to try to neutralize what I was saying over the week without actually being being forward with it, because they don't want to draw more attention to me than necessary. They don't want to tell people that I'm the one that's kicking their ass. If people start looking over here, they might wake up a little more. Let's move on, bro. I got something else here.
So you at a crossroads. Trains us to come into an alignment. The thoughts of our mind, the words of our mouth, and the way we act and behave. The training that produces. Why must Allah retrain and re-educate us? The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad would say that the so-called American Negro must be retrained and re-educated. Boy, I think some people in those days, the so-called intelligentsia of our people and well-to-do of our people, They probably look down upon such words. What does Mr. Muhammad mean that I need to be re-educated? I went to Harvard. I went to Yale. I have the finest education. Well, let's look at it. The scripture in Hosea 4 and 6 says, my people are destroyed from the lack of knowledge. Who destroyed us from the lack of knowledge? If we're talking about a training that produces righteousness, then that must mean that we need to produce righteousness. You mean that righteousness needs to be produced among a people who have had 400 years growing up in the house of the global superpower, and they never made us a righteous people? In our experience as an enslaved people, not only were we under the burden of the whip and the lash and the chain and physical bondage, but the enemy understood that we are a divine people by nature. So over and over again, he attacked us mentally and morally. Carter G. Woodson writes in his excellent book, The Miseducation of the Negro. He says the oppressor, he teaches the Negro that he has no worth while past, that his race has done nothing significant since the beginning of time, and that there's no evidence that he will ever achieve anything great. Lead the Negro to believe this and thus control his thinking. If you can thereby determine what he will think, you will not need to worry about what he will do. You will not have to tell him to go to the back door. He will go without being told. And if there is no back door, he will have one cut for his special benefit. Lord have mercy. You ever go places and seem like on cue all of our people go to the back? It could be a bus, it could be a cafeteria, lunchroom, it could be anywhere. We just naturally go to the back. Conditioning, training, miseducation of our enemy. He continued, if you teach the Negro that he has accomplished as much good as any other race, he will aspire to equality and justice without regard to race. Such an effort would upset the program of the oppressor in Africa and America. Play up before the Negro then his crimes and shortcomings. Let him learn to admire the Hebrew, the Greek, the Latin, and the Teuton. Leave the Negro to detest the man of African blood, to hate himself. The oppressor then may conquer, exploit, oppress, and even annihilate the Negro. With the truth hidden, there will be little expression of thought to the contrary. My God. See, this helps us to understand the conditionality of our people. See, as a student of the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, we acknowledge that there is the nature of the black man and woman that is separate and apart from the condition of the black man and woman. And if you just look upon our people and see only their condition, you will be tempted to judge, criticize, condemn, and complain. But a part of the way the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is training us today, he's training us to do what they talk about in the church. When they say Jesus, he looked beyond my faults to see my needs. Jesus, he poured oil in my wound. Jesus, he bound my broken heart. That's how we are trained. So people say, wow, the Nation of Islam, they in Chicago, they're training. They're extremists. They're going to come against us. On the contrary, any vengeance for what you've done to us, that is in the exclusive purview of God. but he's training us to undo the damage that the enemy has done. He's training us to be a
That's enough of that, brothers and sisters. A couple of things. A lot of things, actually, but first of all, doing to them as they've done to you double. He said, no, that's not for us to give revenge. That's on the preview of God. See? Ain't what script. It said, doing them double as they've done to you. See? That's a lie right there. Okay. Now, well, once you understand, you won't be judging the people. Oh, what's Farrakhan doing? You're sinful, you're wicked, you need to atone. They change the story. They're trying to clean it up. But you can't clean this up. See? Your whole house is shit. You can't clean it up. It's too late. See? Because I'm coming. It's too late. They're trying to clean it up. See? Oh, no. It's their fault. Not our fault, it's their fault. This happened to us. That ain't what Farrakhan is saying. That ain't what he's saying. You wicked and sinful hoes, so-called me man monsters about, you gotta atone. See what's going on here? I told you there's confusion in ranks over there. Now maybe he might be part of the confusion, maybe, because I told you they're gonna throw Farrakhan out themselves. They'll cast him out themselves. So is he one of the ones going to do it? Whatever. They're going to cast him out in a minute. Because what he's saying, he's trying to clean it up, clean up the act. They're trying to blunt what I've been saying. Because they speak to what I've been saying. Just training and all this stuff. Boosie ain't training. That's not what's happening over there. Just those 2 points right there. I just mentioned. Just those points right there. You can't judge. Well, if you want to, well, that's what Farrakhan been doing, judging. This is what he's saying over there. So, I'll move on, brothers and sisters. But as a whole, it's one big shit show over there. They're trying to clean up the act. They're in trouble because people's asking questions they can't answer. They're trying to clean it up. What was the other thing he said? About judging and well, let me say. Let me look one more thing here. It's real quick. There's a couple of things, but one other thing I wanted to. Uh-oh.
Trains us to come into an alignment. The thoughts of our mind, the words of our mouth, and the way we act and behave. The training that produces. Why must Allah retrain and re-educate us? The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad would say that the so-called American Negro must be retrained and re-educated. Boy, I think some people in those days, you know, the so-called intelligentsia of our people and well-to-do of our people, they probably look down upon such words. What does Mr. Muhammad mean that I need to be re-educated? I went to Harvard. I went to Yale. I have the finest education. Well, let's look at it. The scripture in Hosea 4 and 6 says, my people are destroyed from the lack of knowledge. Who destroyed us from the lack of knowledge? If we're talking about a training that produces righteousness, then that must mean that we need to produce righteousness. You mean that righteousness trains
Okay, that's two of the points I wanted to make. First of all, righteousness. Right? You don't know what righteousness is. You don't know what righteousness is. See? Like I said, they talk stuff. Where's righteousness? That's the problem Iblis had. Because he didn't understand either. Because how you God is going to tell me to submit somebody's, make me shed blood, and I want to keep on being righteous. So, Adam, God didn't consider Adam righteous. He didn't. Be a little further. He told Adam, he says, do not eat that tree or you become unjust. Become unjust. So if he ate a tree, that means he was just. And he was righteous. Well, yeah, but he was making us shed blood. Yeah. Because you don't know what righteousness is. And he don't know. He had no idea what we're talking about. They're saying still he had no idea what we're talking about, and that's why they could be condemned. Our people lost for lack of knowledge. He's part of the reason why I lost for lack of knowledge. See? Because it didn't say, right? It said what type of knowledge? Everybody has some knowledge. If you're alive, you got some knowledge. A baby got some knowledge. And this knowledge he must eat. What kind of knowledge are you talking about? People are lost. It means their lives are lost. And so their blood's on his hands. There's a lot more, brothers and sisters. I have to move on. And then it's done from last week. Remember, you want to tell you what God can do, what God can't do. Get back to the same old thing. We'll explain the thing about Adam then. God can't do evil. This clown said the same thing too. He can't do evil. Why can't he do evil? It says from one being all came life came. He can do whatever he wants to do. The Quran says he can do. God does, he pleases. If he can't do evil, how come so much evil in the world? He created it. So you mean you create something, but you're no responsible for what you created? If there's even a world, who created it? And when you say, oh, that was the old thing. He said, oh boy, this was sweet. Oh man. A new term, right? God's will and his what was the way how you say it? His the will of God and the how you say that? Will. I gotta say, like he said, you won't get it. God's will, or okay, I'm just to explain what it means. I can't say it like he said. I can't remember exactly. I should have wrote it down. Other words, there's another type of will. The will of letting stuff happen. I don't know the word he used, but pretty much the will of letting stuff happen. But there ain't a will in. Will means will, actor. That's your will. There's no such thing as what he said. There's no such thing as what he said. Because he said will and objective will. Something like that. Right? But it means like, if anything, you the will of just letting anything happen. That's not will. There's no such thing. But I know why he's saying it. I'm telling you, they're trying to neutralize the mathematics that I'm putting out there. See, I'm going to find what it said, and I'm going to get back to you. Will of compliance? Something like that. I mean, will, that means you have will. That means you want things happen. So another kind of will where anything happen. But that's not will. So he threw a new concept out there. I know why he's doing it, because like I say, he's trying to find a way to explain, because that's what trying to explain the thing about Adam. See, that was a slick way of trying to explain the thing about Adam, because, because if I'm doing, so you can't say, you can't consider the evil in the world as God's will. See, he has put another concept in there, because it says everything is Allah's will. Everything is our will. It's all our will. We planned all this, our will. Energy deprivation, I mean, what I'm saying, energy deprivation was our will, but that's our will is how we can manage energy. Will of compliance, something like that. I gotta find what that was. He just dug it out of his behind, but he dug deep for that one. See? Go trying to explain how, well, all the evil in the world, but that's not really God's fault. See? Yet, maybe say everything is happening His will. See, because when I put that out to explain, you can't explain that. How can we explain if everything is evil, all stuff, if everything is God's will, then where's all the evil come from? And God can't do evil, so it doesn't. They couldn't make any sense of it. So they tried to come up with this new concept. I wish I could remember that word he used, but it's a beaut. Right? Because they can't explain it. Because they can't explain the mathematics of it, and they're being asked questions, they can't explain it, so they got to come up with new ideas and stuff that don't make any damn sense. The will of, that's what it means. It means, like, if things go bad, that wasn't God's will. It was the will of allowing things to go bad, something like that. Whatever. But in other words, it was, you see what I'm saying? Anyway, it's not going to be clear and precise as I say the exact word he used, then you get it. Because everything is our will. So then, how can you explain Adam? Explain all this evil in the world. Why would God, if God has to control everything, remember, nothing happens without His permission. Or was that it? The will of permission? I think that was what it was, will of permission. The will of permitting you to do whatever you wanted to do. Right? But that still be your will, wouldn't it? I mean, I think that's something like that. It's a beaut. It's a beaut. Move on, bro. So I said, yeah, I got quite a few. So I'm going to do some justice just maybe tomorrow, later today, because it's a lot to talk about here. See, bro, says, when you understand stuff, there's a lot to talk about. I'm doing 2 and 3 hour videos, and I can't, well,
Gotta do this. Do you mind? Yes, I'm gonna do something. I don't want to put my brother on the spot. See, this is this. This is something else. Love and faith transcends color. And the reason why we embrace Father Flagler as a brother is because we find him on the battlefield of justice, being a true disciple of Jesus. And the last thing I'll say is, you'll never call us racist.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because this day that we honor,
yes, sir,
Master Fard Muhammad, if you see an image of him, put his image up.
Yes, sir.
That's the man whose father was a black man and his mother a Caucasian. And how many of us have a parent that's a Caucasian or grandparent? It's not about color. It's about our submission to the will of God. And in that we find common ground and unity. So I'm only one shade lighter than you, so. And Mustafa may be 4 more shades lighter. We a family.
Yes, sir.
Let's stay a family and be a family and love each other as God would have us to love each other. We love you, Father. Happy Savior's Day. Thank you. I had to do that. We love you. Go ahead.
One more time, brother.
Okay, brothers and sisters, war, all this, when this war started, like I told you, I've been telling you for 35 years. When this war starts, that's when all these things will come into focus. They're coming into focus now. And got to pause, not a ceasefire, but it resume, and like I told you, this war will last into December. But quite a few events will happen during it. One will be Farrakhan will be exposed, disposed. He's being exposed already. Exposed. Original people will come together, will be attacked. America, Britain, Gog and Magog will be thrown out of the Middle East. What's going to happen to the next 90 days, brothers and sisters? Next 90 days. You know, I'm going to hold that, brothers and sisters, because I was going to say something. I'm not going to get distracted here. Sun prediction. I talked about those dates. I'm not going to talk about it right now. Those are hallmark dates, right? The sign of the Son of Man is perfectly clear. The sign of Farrakhan is perfectly clear. He says, Aaron, all you got to do is read Exodus. And read Exodus to tell you exactly what to expect and what's going on. Why you ain't doing that? Well, let's look on. Let's move on. Maybe I can explain it. Investment, energy management, that's what it's all about. I'm just touching this, brothers and sisters, you know. The angel is what's causing all this. That's what scriptures tell you. Book of Revelation tell you that too. And energy, right? The energy that's doing it is focused through the Lamb. Because the angel is just a book. Right? But a book that tells you the quality of energy that you need to be high pressure and overcome this reality. It's like going to a gym. It's a gym. You just did. Gym ain't gonna do anything. You got to go in there and do you, right, and apply it. So it's a mind war. I keep telling you that, right? So the point is that they fighting back mentally. They're gonna eventually go physically when they exhaust all their mental capabilities. Right? So they're gonna do everything they can. What? Bottom line is to frustrate that or defer, neutralize the energy, that positive energy. It's like if spring is coming in, you want to do everything to block the sun if you're the winter people, because the sun's going to destroy you. The spring is going to destroy you. And so it says it's a mental war, and that's why, and you don't understand this because they never send prophets with guns and missiles and time bombs. Just send them with information, a more powerful mind. Information to give them a more powerful mind. The information is not a mind itself, right? It's instructions, if you will, right? Like you go to the gym, right? You got machines, you got to use them. So you go in there, and as you, like Problem Hummers, he didn't get all the crowd at once, couldn't handle all at once. It was so much. He had to get in bits and pieces. Going to the gym, you can't go to the gym and be the Hulk the next day. Right? If you do too much, you strain yourself. So it gave him as he could handle it. As he got stronger and stronger and stronger, he became more and more powerful. Same thing with the angel. Right? You got to go in there, you got to work it. And you know you worked it because now you see results. You start breaking those, right? Breaking those verses. You break those verses, you're not producing, you're not in that gym. You're not producing anything. If anything, what you're doing is like, I'm trying to go to the gym. Every time I go to the machine, you on the machine. So I can't get anything done because everybody in my way. And then I'm trying to do it. Then, man, can I work in? All this stuff, frustrating. All these things to keep me from going in and doing what I'm trying to do. Same thing. That's what I said. They was merciful. Give it to 5 years and shut it down. You don't see any progress because, right? Because energy, right? It's this energy is creating high pressure, and you want that pressure to grow. Because if balloon, if it's that big and as far as it'll go, then it's not going to affect anything else. It took that much space. All it took. If you keep blowing it, it gets taking more and more space, more and more space. So you say, okay, somebody distract you, or you stop blowing it. So now all you got is just this much space taken up. When you're supposed to keep on blowing in that balloon, giving it more energy, take up more until you clip the whole room. And you understand? Let me move on, bro. This is our situation. See, we're three-dimensional people. That's our universe. Because energy deprivation, the energy levels kept dropping, dropping, dropping. So we got forced into, wait a minute, hold on. This is okay. I didn't check that. That's my error again. Come on here. Okay, we just do the easy way for now. The easy way for now. Still. Oh, no, so, okay, that's what happened. And I didn't get checked it. Oh, boy. Oh, okay, I knew what happened. Okay, boss, this is a second here. Fix it real quick. Put my back up. You'll understand. Okay, Brown says that's the way it's supposed to end up. I kind of messed it up a little bit. Ends up like that, right? Okay, and that's the emotional range. Because what's happening here is that we reduce down to the first dimensional derivative of ourselves, and that's where we made Yakub. Yakub made his man. He's derivative, knockoff, derivative, right, of us. You understand derivatives, right? And so we reduce to that because of energy deprivation. And so we reduce to two-dimensional beings too, under control of them. That's the cross, similar to cross. We're under their authority. That's why we submit to them, under their authority, right? Okay, so, but see, you have two sides of us. We have the intellectual side, and generally speaking, we have the emotional side. The emotional side is the two-dimensional side of us. Everything is mathematics, but it's the undisciplined mathematics. Emotion, undisciplined mathematics. Everything is mathematics. There's no exception to that. It's the undisciplined mathematics. The less the discipline, the more emotion it is. See? It's undisciplined mathematics. So it's still mathematics, it's undisciplined. So the less discipline you have, the more emotion you're going to be. So emotional plane. But on the emotional plane, everything, and since we in this two-dimensional under Adam's rule, we're in this two-dimensional plane. See, down there, it's two-dimensional. It's two-dimensional. It's the emotional plane, the emotional realm. And when you're in the emotional realm, see, they locked in, they cannot come out of it. See, we can come out of it because we reduced to that. We still had our nature, so we can come back up, but they can't because they was created on that level. They can't arise above it, but we can't because we still have our nature. See, that's why I had a flag there. We reduced to that level. You understand? By them, we're under their control. So understand that. So in an emotional plane, it's not about intellect. It's not about intellect. Yeah, and you understand, it's not about intellect. Okay. Like, I was talking about tree cutting that tree down. It has nothing to do with friendship, whether I like you or dislike you. It's just a mathematical fact. It has nothing to do with how I feel. But so on the emotional side, that's where everybody's going to interpret everything. Because intellect is not involved there. Discipline is not involved there. Like democracy is on the emotional plane, and democracy is not about discipline. It's about what people want, emotion. So the head doesn't control it. You understand? So this emotional plane. So truth, as you understand truth, doesn't work on that emotional plane. Logic doesn't work. It's just how you feel about people, how you feel about something. Oh, man, I like pork chops, man. I heard people say, man, I can't stop eating that stuff, man, but I like it. Man, I love chops. It ain't about what's right or wrong. It's how I feel about it. Oh, I like Farrakhan. He's cute. He's handsome. He talks nice. That's what God told Adam, Eli, you don't need him. Elijah insisted. I need somebody to talk nice. That's why they can get away with that stuff over there. Because on your emotional plane, it's just how you feel about the situation. So they can make you feel good. Drugs, liquor. I mean, that's what all these things, like in this country, pharmaceutical, sorcery. They take in the Bible says sorcery, but you translate the words actually mean for pharmaceutical. Drugs, everything. Everything's emotional plane. And 90% of people, the ailments people have nowadays, 90% is because they eat 3 meals a day. Another 10% is probably because they got dogs in the house that's challenging their immune system because it's a whole different biological system. I'm not going there. You understand? So that's why I didn't get away with that. Because you say, look at it and say, and if you're on the emotional plane, nothing I'm saying is gonna matter to you unless I say nice things and I'm cool and all that kind of stuff. See, that's why I say fuck, because that's gonna throw you. That's gonna run you away from here. Look what he's saying, man. Because the master is not gonna appeal to you. Because you here. I don't want you to come here because you like me. I want you to come here because you like the way I talk, the way I look. I don't look. I ain't no looker. They told me when I was younger, but I'm not now. You understand? But the point is, that's what I'm saying. We don't want you to become like that. That's the problem. See? That's why they can say stuff and get away with it. Because it's just, they appeal to your emotions. Farrakhan, they appeal to your emotions. That's why he talk all this stuff. He talk, oh, I'm glad y'all show up. Man, this, if you listen to what he's talking, 90% of what he's talking about, oh, man, I'm glad y'all showed up, man, and this and all that kind of stuff. And, why didn't he have war with Armageddon? Oh, man, y'all look so great out there. You ever notice he do that? I mean, I thought you was talking the subject. Oh, man, why did he have war with Armageddon? Oh, man, I love those beautiful face out there today. You see, because he peeled their emotions. That's why he does that. Because he knows if there's about truth, they wouldn't be with him 5 seconds. All you got to do is read Exodus. You understand? But they don't love the truth. They're there for the emotions. That's why the people fell away from Elijah just like that. Because they were there for the emotional. Once he wasn't there to feed their emotions, right? They want to look for some other emotion. So they found Farrakhan look for some other emotional high. It's all, that's the emotional realm. And so it don't bother me. You stay there. I'm giving information. Now you got the ability to receive it, but you got to give up. You got to get out of the emotional plane. Now people start to get out of the emotional plane, and then all of a sudden that's why they got problems over there. Because it says, "Who the Lord consume spirits?" How can he consume spirits' mouth? Because somebody had to be hearing it. If he's saying stuff, somebody had to be hearing it, and it's growing. Because he says consuming it, and eventually destroys them. William Brown says, I'm going to have to cut much shorter than I expected. You understand? We're emotional. That's why they say it doesn't make any sense. You're not supposed to. It's supposed to make you feel good. Say these nice things. You got to be in crowd. Everybody wearing braids. I'm going to wear braids too, man. I'll be cool. I was telling my folks, how can any man stay up there for 4 or 5 hours? You ain't got nothing else better to do. You ain't got kids to take care of. You 4 or 5 hours to braid your hair. I mean, you ain't about nothing. Unless you sit there study the book while they're doing it. They say it cost $200 or $300. See, because that's part of the crowd, just being involved. That's Farrakhan's emotion. That's the attraction. That's why they want you to see him right now, because you saw him how condition is right now. You recoil, and that would diminish your emotional contact with him. See, because again, he ain't so cute and handsome like you thought he was before, right? And so that you're gonna lose part of the emotional Otherwise, they will show a picture of something of him. Okay? Because you wasn't there because of his intellectual. Because he's not following Elijah Muhammad. He's not anywhere. It's not even close. He just used his name. But you're there because the emotional high, the emotional realm. That's where everybody is. And they're going to die in the emotional realm in a minute. Okay, I almost had that twice. I'm going to close out in a minute, bro, because I went way over. I had I'm gonna have, and I'm not gonna get as much as I wanted to get in today, but hopefully next afternoon or tomorrow. Right? I'll put this whole thing together. But see, I talk about capitalism, this is that triangle. And democracy is an emotional realm. See, because it makes you feel politicians, how do you get political? Because they got to go in and feel the emotion of the people. They got to be liked. It's not about what they say. It's about what they see is. If they're saying things you like. That means it's by definition. If your my brain here listen to your body, and your brain do what your body want, eat all the time, sleep all the time, sex all that kind, how long you be dead in a minute? But you had the discipline has to come from here. And democracy, there's no discipline because you have to do what the body wants. And the body and everybody got, it's also it's emotional high. That's what they wanted. Right? And capitalism is the slavery by definition, and Christianity just justifies it. That triangle, we call it the golden triangle. I'll talk more about it another time, brothers and sisters. Everything is fake, and as I said, it's all fake in the two-dimensional world. They said you go out and deceive the whole world. Deception means everything is fake. Nothing's real. See? I'm going to go to a couple of verses I want to get to. I'm going to do this in detail about since I've run out of time. Okay. My people destroy for lack of knowledge because they have rejected knowledge. There's two levels to this. It's those that reject it, that want to stay in a two-dimensional whole this world's life, and those that never got it because it was blocked from it. It's two groups. So you always pay attention to this. So I will also reject those that rejected it. Those clowns with I showed you a picture earlier, the traitors. See, they reject knowledge. And you got those, right? It says God gonna reject them because they're gonna stay right? They want to stay out in the emotional realm. Okay, let's move on to the other one and then I'm close. I'm gonna get to the ones I want to get to. No, not that one. I'm gonna go into all these detail processes. Okay, and he's talking about the rest. Okay, he's talking about this army. See, remember kept too much army come together? That's bullshit. Because Farrakhan's not raised no army. He says he would actually, Aaron, he would make the people. What does it call him? Said a mockery, not a mockery. Anyway, he said. I forgot the word they use, right? But people will mock them. They make them I forgot the word used, brothers and sisters. Anyway, right? They wouldn't respect them. He'd look like a fool amongst it for the enemies. That's what Aaron would do, Farrakhan would do. But he's making this army. He's making an army, and it says, stealing a great army. It says, that would happen to the four winds blow. That they could tell what the four winds are, but said won't happen to the four winds blow. Then be a seed of great army. So here first, it won't happen to the four. He don't have any idea what that is. He has no idea what that is. So the Son of Man will preach to the four winds, and then the seed of great army will come together. Suddenly, hasn't come together yet. Let me move on to the next one. I'm going to talk this in detail about this. Hopefully they don't say tomorrow. And here's the four winds again in the book of Revelation. You call Revelation angel. Somebody's holding back the four winds. See, who's holding them back? See? They haven't blown yet. Because the people come together to see the great army. He got all this up, Farrakhan raising this army, and he raising the goddamn thing. See? Bullshit. Because they're trying to get to know what I'm saying. If you understand, they try to be slick, so it won't be so obvious. My four wins again. That's not. I want to move on. I'm gonna come back to this puppet lay on self tomorrow. Now here, look at this one. Now, son of perdition. It says they would perish because they didn't love the truth. There you go. See, they want to stay on the emotional plane. That's why it's with him. But look what it says right here. See, like I said, they being part of this brother. So that he remember he said that he's the Christ, right? So that he, as God, set a temple of God. Damn. How can you miss that one? Show himself, he is God. It's that son of perdition. He'll be sitting in Elijah's seat in Master Muhammad's temple. All Israel don't have no temple. They got synagogues. Christians got churches. Muslims had mosques. Muhammad had a temple. Master Muhammad had a temple. He said he'd be sitting in a temple, show himself that he's God, the God. I'm the Christ. That's son of perdition. He said in Elijah's seat. So you're going to say Elijah's son of perdition? You can't say it was wild because he wasn't sitting in Elijah's seat. He got rid of the whole thing. Started this thing called Belialians. They try to make like he's... And plus he's dead anyway. So he, as God, set his temple of God, show himself. He is sitting in a temple. He's sitting in Elijah's seat. Saying he's the one. How you miss that one? See, you can talk all that crap. I'm saying that's why this message is going out. That's part of the reason to expose you. Because you're going to be in a few more days, when this comes to a head, you're going to be asked about these things. And what's your answer going to be? Where's your answer going to be? Because there ain't going to be no stuttering. Ain't going to be no dissembling. Right? And so you're going to lose your tongue for lying. Because you're going to ask, what does that mean? Tell me what that means. It'll be somebody, he says false Israel, right? He says it's Jews, right? They're not saying the temple of God. They're not saying they God, temple of God. It's Farrakhan saying that. They said they're synagogues. And plus, he says, do not, it's anyone who's telling you that falling away that will come afterwards. He said, no, falling away will come first. First. This is what Farrakhan says. And then it's a falling away will come first. And then the man sinner, he's saying, no, since I'm exposed in the synagogue of Satan, now they're probably falling away from him. So it's the words right there. He's deceiving you if he's saying that, because he said, do not be deceived, my brother, call Lord, and be our God, that ye be not soon in mind or troubled, neither by the spirit, nor word, nor by letter, but a day of Christ's hand. Let no man deceive you by any means, no man. For that day shall not come and said to be a falling away first, and then the son of perdition be revealed. Man of sin. Man of sin, right? Because follows the devil. And it says all of them are sinful. It says none of them are good, no, not one. So that means he ain't no damn good either. We try to say all humanity. Well, if all humanity is sinful, like you say, it says if you apply to humanity, all humanity, I'm gonna close in a minute. You can apply to saying all humanity. He says, when it says none are good, no, not one, and you apply to all humanity, what? Call yourself human? That means you ain't no damn good either. That means Elijah Muhammad's no damn good either. That means Master Muhammad's no good either. Because he said, all are no, not one, none are good, no, not one. So they're no good either, if that's what you're trying to say. And that goes back to Adam too. So well, Adam represents humanity. Oh, I'm gonna put a new rule on the earth. So Adam is all humanity. Who's ruling the earth? Are we ruling it? Are the Chinese ruling it? Asians ruling it? No, the Caucasians are ruling it. They're Adam. See, this is clear stuff. And he said, don't let anybody see it. Means that but he's telling you the opposite. Oh, well, since I'm exposing them, they're falling away. But what about there? They're falling away to the temple? Because you don't want to sit in the temple of God right now, ain't you? Ain't you want to sit in the temple of God right now? Who said God set the temple up? Okay, Bronson. I got a lot of stuff here, but like I said, I get to talking, and so much I can't, it's no way. And then shall that wicked be consumed with spirit's mouth. That means the Lamb of God, the angel, is going to consume the spirit's mouth and destroy the righteous come, which will happen within the next 90 days. When that war comes to right? It's full. And for those, this cause God will send them, okay. And with all, okay, even him who's coming after this work of Satan. It says Satan cast out Satan, right? when he said, Satan be cast out Satan. He claimed he cast out Satan, right? Easy. With all power and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceitfulness and unrighteousness in them that perish, because they received not the love of truth, that they might be saved. Because they texted them in, they didn't want him for truth, they were there for emotion. So they all perish. Because they was with the truth, they would have been with Farrakhan for a hot second. All you got to do is read Exodus and tells you clearly who he is and what he is. So they perish because they had no love for the truth. They was there on an emotional basis. They weren't there for the truth because they wouldn't be there. If they were there for truth, they wouldn't be there. Except those that's there because they're not with Farrakhan, like it says. They're there because that said message of the covenant was something to come to his temple. Not synagogue. Remember temple again. They make sure temple, that's why you have different categories so you know who they're talking about. When they say temple, you're not talking about Christians, not talking about Hindus, not talking about Sunnis. There's mosques, there's synagogues, there's churches. No, Elijah. That's why I said temple. And for this cause, God should send them strong delusions. It's so emotional. They should believe a lie. They believe all that emotional crap. Right? That they might be damned who believe not truth, but have pleasure in righteousness. I'm going to say one more thing and I'm going to close, brothers and sisters. I'm going to get this more. I should close now, but I want to get this. Okay, this one right here. I love this one. Because all these states saying the same thing, brothers and sisters. Men's hearts failing for fear, but looking at those things which come upon earth, the power of heaven will be shaken. So they're in great fear. I mean, so much their hearts fail. I mean, they're panicked. Right? They're panicked. That's emotional plane. They have an emotional reaction. But look at the other ones on the bottom now, 28. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up, lift your heads, for your redemption draw nigh. They got an intellectual reaction because they see the angel. So they have an intellectual, they don't have an emotional reaction. Other ones do. I think I pointed out. But like I said, some things I kind of leave in biblical because I think, well, if there's people that study this, maybe they come up and point out some of these things. Never do. It means I can't be wasting time with that. Leave doors open. So at least they get their foot in and say, I know they're trying or something. You're seeing this. Because it got two reactions, two emotional reactions. Two reactions. One intellectual reaction and one's emotional reaction. See? So those just the devil, they got emotional reaction. All those on second planet, in other words, second dimension, they got emotional reaction. The ones cleans the earth, they're gonna be in shock. They may come out of shock, but they're still gonna be shocked. That's what I said, they're gonna be shocked, panic, because they're still in two-dimensional. They're gonna have emotional reaction initially. They're gonna come out of it. Some of them gonna come out of it. As they flee, gonna be an emotional reaction. But those who are breaking into the third dimension, breaking into the angel, they'll have an intellectual reaction. Because now, how are they gonna know to look up? Because you're they don't even know about this stuff. They have to an angel, they even know this stuff. They have some knowledge of it. When things begin to come to pass, they have to see these things come to pass and realize what they are. See, but the other ones, emotional reaction. Oh man, what? Okay, oh, you mean he was right? Oh, you see what I'm saying? I'm gonna leave it there, brothers and sisters. It's your choice. Nobody's gonna force you anything. My job is just to give you information. That's up to you whether you do something with it or not. If you don't do anything, then you slept behind. We will not lose any sleep over you. Okay. I'm gonna close now, brothers. And hold on a second. Let me go check something. It's a special day for a special person, so I'm not gonna get myself the wrath of the goddess. Wrath of God. Well, that's one thing I want, He was saying that, he said, Elijah says that we cannot live, these people, we cannot live, no nation can live higher than this woman. That was all mathematics, but they don't understand. No nation can live higher than its women. You get the master that? That's explained to you. You can't live any higher than master would. That means it has to be equal. You can't get above them. It has to be equal. It has to be equal for that to be true. Well, that's just, one thing, personally, I'd be glad my brothers and sisters do move to the third dimension, because then I can have somebody to talk to. I don't have anybody to talk to right now. Everybody appreciate this. The master is so beautiful. That's somebody to talk to right now. I've been 35 years, I ain't had a damn person to talk to. Nobody. Well, brothers and sisters, let me see if I'm about to get slaughtered over here. Hold on. Hey, brothers and sisters, I got a couple more minutes here. Let's see what I'm going to look at here. Okay. Let's look at this. Now, again, they don't talk about this. Remember, leading part of the book, this video? And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abraham. Now, people don't notice this, but you ask yourself, why did he call him Abram there? Why not Abraham? Why in this particular, but who we supposed to be? See, that's the lie. We supposed to be Ham. So that's a hint right there. That we the seed that's lost. They tell us, no, it's false Israel. That's why he calls Ham. It's mathematics, but it's beautiful. But nobody's ever paid attention to that. When I ran across this, I said, how come no one ever saw that? If they did see it, they couldn't speak up to it. It's like the Sunnis, they can't speak up to what they see. Because they do that, it's point that manifest who they are. So if they see it, they can't say it. Right? But they're on the emotional level, they're not going to see it anyway. They just pass over them because they're not there. See, a lot of people read the Bible to justify what they're doing. I said, look, I didn't read the Bible like that. I read the Bible to learn to better myself. But if you listen to people, they read the Bible to find justifications of what they're doing. So in other words, they look and see Ham. Oh, Ham was doomed to be slave. There's cursed to be slave. So we beating them. That's God's will. But that's what they interpret it. Who's Ham? Cursed to be slaves by Jesus. They're Jesus. That's an F there, Jesus. So let him come down wherever he is. That's also bullshit. He raised himself from the dead. Just think about this stuff. If he was dead, how could he raise himself up? If you're dead, you don't know where you're dead. You don't even know you're dead. It's just so hard. That an emotional plane, they can say anything. It just don't add up. He raised himself up from the dead. Then he wasn't dead. If you're dead, you don't know you're dead. How can you do anything? See, when you get the third dimension, look down, that shit just falls apart. Right? And hard darkness fell upon him. He said, Abram, no, it's surety. No doubt about this God's word. Now see, if you're strange in the land, this clown suddenly said, yeah, that applies to us. He said that doesn't apply to us. There's no history that applies to false Israel. He said it doesn't apply to us. That's what he said, right? But look at what he said. Read this out. Now, sure, your seed be a stranger land that's not theirs. They say it's our land. That's what Pharaoh comes to. This is our land. He says land that's not there. That's what it's saying here. But he says this applies to us. He said it today. I guess it don't apply. Some words don't apply, right? And shall serve them and shall afflict them 40 years. And all that nation who they shall judge, will I judge. See, they try to say, oh, well, it wasn't me. No, it says going to judge the nations. I'm not going to judge George Washington and Abraham Lincoln. I'm going to judge this. That means all these devils pay the price for this. The whole nation. Afterwards, it shall come out with great substance. And thou shalt go thy fathers in pieces, shall be buried in good oil. But in the fourth generation, that's after 40 years, the fourth generation, they shall come hither again. Where's hither? Hither is where that's a biblical word. Hither, where were they at? They're over in the Middle East. So they come hither, that means come where we are. Come back. That's where they're talking from. They will come hither. And in Arabia, that's where God talking to Abraham, right? But Nika, the authorities shall, right? So they'll return after 40 years. 40 years, that generation, right? So what are they going to return to? Remember, they read the first part. They read the first part here. They don't tell you about Abram. They don't tell you about that part. But Pharaoh said, we over here because we were sinful. We're being punished. That's not what this is saying. They're trying to clear the act, right? You be a stranger. The land is not ours. But they say it's our land. I can show you. I got the video. I will show it today. But with 40 years, 1619, 2019. Now let's go on to. Remember, this is 12th, 15th verse, 16th verse. Here's the 17th verse. How can I read this part? Why did it stop here? What is it? There's a roadblock here or something? It shall come to pass when sun went down, it was dark, oh, smoking furnace and burning lamp that passed between pieces. And in the same day, the Lord made a covenant, gave his word, Abram, give his word, saying, until I see have I given this land, where they are, but they make it clear, so we have to go hither, from the river of Egypt unto the great river Euphrates, which is Arabia. Look on the map. How can I read that part? Because first we ain't going nowhere. So he called God a liar. He gave his word, and he said, give me a liar. You lying. You goddamn liar. We ain't going nowhere. Anyway, how you going to get a reward when you got so damn wicked? You're evil. That's what he said. We need to be atoned. You fucking evil. You're wicked. That's what he said. Hurry up, pray louder. Worm, get your ass. You get that one? Heard that video? He's accused of us. And during the war, it says the accuser of our brother be cast down. I was going to show that, but like I said, I'm going to close out. Well, I want to leave my last presentation forever. Right? Mess some sisters, boy. Ooh. Until the seed I've given this land. Right there, how can I mention that part? What it says, those believe in part of the book and disbelieve in the other, they disbelieve in this part. And in fact, that he says the land is ours, and one of the reasons why we didn't get no reward because we wicked, evil. We was punished. That's why we punished according to Pharaoh. And now trying to clean up their act. Oh, and then come out of my people. He said, come out of people mean. Now let's just carefully. I'm gonna close. Okay. I heard another voice I heard say, come you out, people of me. Listen carefully. Out of her in order that you should not share together in the sins of her, and out of the plagues of her, in order that you will not receive the same plague. You got to come out. So in other words, their definition is coming out her names, her culture, and then you won't get the plagues. That'll protect you from the plagues. Remember, because he's saying coming out will protect you from the plagues. That's what he's saying right there. Out of plagues. So come out of her, my people, out of her, in order that you should not share together the sins of her, and out of the plague that you won't suffer her plagues. So it was based on what they're saying. If you come out her names, her religion, and holidays, then that was your protection from the plagues. Because that's what the whole point. Come out so you won't receive the plagues. That's what he's saying, right? Am I getting it wrong? Then why you wearing a mask, Farrakhan? Why are your people dropping like flies over there? One of the main ministers and their sister and all of them died because of COVID, and they was out of their names. And that COVID was one of the plagues. 1619, 2019. That's one of the years. 2020, COVID came right on time. Killed the firstborn, like it said. That's the elderly. And it passed over Africa. Go check out, take my word for it. It didn't affect those people in Africa, black people in Africa. It didn't affect Haiti either. It wasn't affecting original black people either. It didn't affect me. I was in my 70s at the time. Only wore a mask I had to if I go and store something. I ain't taking any shots. It tells your protection. So if that's coming, just do that. That's your law right there. Because the only way you could see the page, you got to get the hell out of here. But he said, we ain't going nowhere. Read it carefully. But the point is, if you're two dimensions, it don't matter. Because you're still in the emotion state. Because Farrakhan, man, he said this shit is honey, man. I love Farrakhan, man. This shit must be honey. Because you're in the emotional plane. And emotional plane, anything goes. Oh, because you feel good. Oh, man, that crack is good, man. Oh, man, that marijuana. Because you're in the emotional plane. I got some Prozac, I got this. Hey, let's go out, man. Let's get some drinks. You're in the emotional plane. So anything goes, as long as it makes you feel good. The emotional plane is just what makes you feel good. That's what righteousness is. You know what righteousness is in the emotional plane? What righteousness is in the emotional plane? What makes you feel good. They tell you your songs, right? If make you feel good, and help go for it. That's what drives the emotional plane, make you feel good. So Farrakhan got to make you feel, he ain't going to say anything that's going to rush you out of there. He got to make you feel good. See, he got to do things that, Farrakhan made slick, he this, he had all this stuff, right? What makes you feel good, that's what drives it, not truth. That's why they ain't showing them. Because all of a sudden, man, he might, he like like say you got a beautiful voice. Everybody, all of a sudden, right, your voice get all cracked up and everything. They're not gonna have you say anything because they don't want to mess your voice up. Because the people attract you because of your voice. You lose your voice, they ain't with you no more. So he ain't all. He done got old, wrinkled, and everything else. I don't identify with that. Because that was what's tracking him. So now he they had this movie, right, where this woman, she took it, went someplace, she was getting old, so it was a place where she took this thing where she converted into a young person, right? I'm paraphrasing, I gotta go, but it's bottom line, right? And a younger person came out of her, but that was her. But her whole body was just laying on the floor. Something like that, just it, right? And so she started abusing the body because she hated the old body she had because she had this new body now. The bottom line, she did something and tried to make herself look, then she'd have turned into a grotesque monster that she couldn't get back, right? And so she had to go on stage and she looked at me, she got her head all over here and a humpback body and everything else. And she had a picture of herself saying, it's me, it's me, it's me. Everybody said, look at that mouth now. She kept saying, it's me, showing the picture of her whole self, right? It wasn't behind the picture because they didn't see her. So Farrakhan don't have an emotional, that's why he told, be quiet. You don't have emotional attraction anymore. That's what keeps in the background. That's what anyone hear from him. It was all about emotions. It wasn't about truth. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. But like I said, if you're emotional state, none of this stuff will make sense to you. But it will in a minute. Because he's getting ready to crash this reality. Then you won't have anything to hold on to. The only thing you can do now is you can lay on the floor, say, I want to stay here. Or you can start standing up. And that's when the armies will come together. Not just bullshit. So they make him a laughing stock. That was so they make his nation a laughing stock for his enemies. That's the way it is. Not respected anymore. You can build anything. Go down to Florida. I think the only major city in Florida they got they call it a mosque now is in Miami. I was in Tampa, and they had a little study group. And the study group was at night. They used a little kindergarten, like a trail or something. And you couldn't, you had to be careful sitting in the chairs because you might not be able to get out of them when it squeezed into them. They were so small. And then he talked about all the stuff he was talking about training. He wasn't doing that stuff. You come in here and they Elijah Farrakhan wrote some paper he wrote, some study guide he got, and they pass around and you read a sentence and the next person read another sentence. There's indoctrination. That's their study groups. That guy was lying, he's stupid, he's ignorant, and they're trying to cover up, it's too late. You're through. The message coming, come for your ass. And he ain't coming, he ain't coming, right, to pay tiddlywinks with you. He come for destruction. Total. That's just what it's about. Just make all, what you say, they say gonna make all things new with me. That means you're gonna destroy everything that exists. What's that gonna take? Assalamu alaikum.